A few of my thoughts on Harry and Meghan. Yay! Let's go. On their way back from their weird and arguably irresponsible pretend royal tour of Nigeria, Harry and Meghan received devastating news. The gruesome twosome learned to their dismay that their Archewell Foundation had been officially ruled to be a delinquent organisation. California's Attorney General duly banned the shocked couple's cherished charity from raising money or making donations. In a stroke, all the alleged good publicity that Meghan revelled in while acting like a princess in Africa was wiped out. A cheque had been lost in the post, we were told, which sounded like a kid telling their teacher the dog ate their homework. But evidently the bureaucratic mess was swiftly sorted and Archewell was restored to its former legitimate glory. But the worrying question remains, how did their Montecito Majesties let their business affairs descend into such a shambles? Meanwhile, back in Nigeria, they were no doubt celebrating the semi-regal endorsement of their country, where self-styled feminist Meghan seemed oblivious to the lack of women's rights, the fact that female genital mutilation is rife, and the mass kidnapping of innocent children by bandits and the extremist Islamic thugs of Boko Haram, who use their poor captives as sex slaves. As he enjoyed a game of the world's worst sport, polo, cocooned from the brutal realities of the nation he was making look good, Harry didn't seem too bothered either. Did, in the luxury of their £2,000 a night hotel suite, the Duke and Duchess of Netflix even know? You decide. Were the dreaded duo just useful idiots, unwittingly helping to bolster brand Nigeria? Again, you decide. Anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Sussex couldn't stop gushing about their dubious three-day visit in no fewer than 8 press releases, culminating in: the Duke and Duchess would like to extend their deepest gratitude to the whole Nigerian community for their tremendous hospitality on the first of many memorable trips. That seismic sentence set off alarm bells among Britain's diplomats who fear that Harry and Meghan's naive wildcat tours will send the wrong glowing messages about countries that should not be lauded on the international stage. Where next? Somalia? North Korea? But behind the gilded gates of Montecito Palace, such serious geopolitical considerations evidently take second place to the all-important business of photo opportunities. After magically discovering she is 43% Nigerian, Meghan palpably loved being loved by the locals, who she rather clumsily declared were in her. By the end of the tour, she was calling Nigeria her country. And was it just me, but as all the African attention focused on the very regal former cable show actress, did her overshadowed husband look a tad peed off? Just like his dad Charles used to look when he played second fiddle to photographers' favourite Princess Diana wherever they went. Poor Harry, so full of his own status, so self-important, so not as popular with Nigerians as his wife. Talking of whom, when is her American Riviera Orchard cutlery and cushions online store opening for business? Just asking, because I'm running low on beige-coloured household tat. Never mind American Riviera household, whatever the hell it is. That tour was irresponsible. It made a country that doesn't deserve it look good. This is the thing about the gruesome twosome. They're going off going, oh, look, we're royals. No, you're not. Harry doesn't know how to do anything else except visit places and cut ribbons and that sort of thing, open libraries. And that's all he can do. She loves it, but you have to plan these things carefully. You can't go to a country like Nigeria and say, this is a great country. It is far from that. As I said, where next? Somalia? Then North Korea? It's not responsible.
Listen, look, this happens all the time. We've had a World Cup that happened in Qatar. They've hardly they've hardly got the best human rights record. We've seen people go...
and the royal family were to do with that.
We've seen
what
people...
were the royal family to do with the World Cup?
There are always...
Never mind that. I'm talking about the royal family. The royals are very careful where they go.
Who's president?
I agree with you about Qatar, by the way.
Yeah, who's president of our FA? I believe it's Prince William, isn't it? So, therefore, if the English FA send an English team to Qatar, then it's been sanctioned.
And you think they'll listen to a word he said?
Then it's been sanctioned by Prince William.
You think he'll...
Pretty much every country that we go and visit, or anybody goes and visits, has problems with human rights.
Problems
with human rights.
Nigeria's a hellhole.
Nigeria, I believe, is part of the Commonwealth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still a hellhole.
It's still part of the Commonwealth.
Harry and Meghan, neither of them exactly intellectuals, particularly Harry. He's got a few red strands of hair on the side of his head.
Don't be gingerous.
I don't think there's ginger whinger. The carrot top.
It's actually
I don't think he's got much inside of his skull. So I bet you he didn't even have any idea about this sort of stuff. And Meghan, if she had the remotest idea, wouldn't have gone there. She's a feminist, but I suspect she might have known something about it, but for her, a photo op is far more important than the mutilation of women.
I'm more concerned, I'm more confused. How do you just find out that you're 43% Nigerian?
Let's now talk about their disastrous return to California, where on the way back, they learned that their charity, the Archwell Foundation, had fallen into delinquency, and the Californian Attorney General banned it from collecting money, donations, or donating any money. How did they let that happen?
This is such a non-story. I'm ashamed.
Is that why it was on the front page?
I'm ashamed of you, Kevin.
Is that why it was on the front page of every paper?
I'm ashamed of you. It's ultimately like getting the red warning for your utility bill.
A picture is emerging of them. They start stuff and they never finish it. So, all these projects they were going to do, they've never done. American Orchard Riviera. Was it the other way around? Riviera Orchard.
I know.
Who the cares?
You do, because you want to buy from the website, apparently.
I'm trying. Yeah, but she announces this, 2 months ago? 2 months ago, big promotional video. Here, she sends out 50 jars of shit jam to all these people.
Which you never tried?
Well, I wasn't on the list.
What?
I wasn't on the VIP
that is
list.
So odd.
Loads of the VIPs that just chucked them in the bin. And you still can't buy anything from it. But they never finish anything.
No, but the problem with Archwell is that it's had a string of... There's always something to come out of it. There's always some sort of problem. I think that's why, if this was the first thing that happened with Archwell, it wouldn't be on the front page. It wouldn't be news.
If you take somebody's life over the last 6 months and have you got a speeding ticket? Have you ever been sent a utility bill for not paying something on time?
Yeah.
Have you spilt stuff down your front? Have you sent out an email with a typo on it? When you're under the microscope,
100%.
as much as they are,
they should have been more careful then. Knowing the position they're in, they shouldn't have let their business go to rack and ruin, should they?
Then you're going
By the way, donations to Archwell are down by tens of millions of dollars. That's the other problem. It's hardly a functioning charity at all anyway.
But what does that... but it's a charity that is a non-profit trying to do good for people.
Damn straight it's a non-profit.
It's a non-profit trying to do...
delinquent non-profit charity.
It's a non-profit trying to do good for people.
It's a non-profit pile of shit is what it is.
Look, I was taken into the collective bosom of your audience last week. They said some very nice things.
The angry bosom of my audience.
Some of them weren't too pleased, but I'm trying to have an argument with you where I put the other side forward and say it may just be a bit of sensationalism. It may just be a bit of sensationalism.
But look,
and if we attack them for everything, you're never ever going to see the good in anybody.
Come on, Simon, you're an old hack. You know that people like Harry and Meghan should be very, very careful about their affairs because, I agree with you. It's a fairly minor slip-up and it was put right quickly. Check got lost in the post. Bollocks. What do you think I was? Born yesterday.
Dog ate my homework.
Dog ate my homework. Don't kid.
But it's not a hanging offence.
The point is, people like that have to be very careful. And the fact that they weren't, I think, is very worrying.
Yeah.
I think they're not really up to the job of being these pretend royals in California.
And I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to shock you here and agree with you. If you are putting yourself out there, then you have to have people, whether it's the people around you or whether it's you yourself, you've got to be whiter than white. You've got to be doing dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But also, to go back to my original position, we've also got to give them a bit of slack because it's not the worst. It's not the worst crime in the world.
I'll just give you a little bit. I agree with that, but I'll just give you a little bit of information about that. So they've recently hired a sort of whiz kid British publicists to polish up their image. And when the press release came out saying, oh, the cheque got lost in the purse, it's actually just one of those things, CHEQUE. Now, that was a press release to America and Californians where you spell cheque CHECK. Now, that publicist, I bet he's having a hard time right now. I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall when Meghan found out that Archwell had gone delinquent. On that note, and on a rare note of harmony with Simon there, let's go to a bad ad.
Oh, sorry. Hey, you're Meghan Markle.
Yeah, hi.
Come on and look at me now. I'm the one and only. You can see it now. I got that funny honey, and I don't need to say it loud every time now, 'cause I got every single dime now.
Ladies, the treatment.
It's a clothes shop, it's an American clothes shop called and again, what an actress. I mean, she's wasting her time pretending to be a princess. She should get back on the stage because she's a tower.
I was going to be a little bit mean and say the wooden instrument was doing better moves than her. But,
I actually had no idea what that ad was about.
What was more wooden, the piano or Meghan?
But as I said last week, we all have to start somewhere. When you're an actress, landing an ad like that...
You're a performer.
I am a performer. Landing an ad like that pays the bills.
I
Or
agree,
not if you're
agree.
Archwell. But
Ever since you married Harry, ever since she started dating Harry, that's when her acting skills came into play. She has delivered a very good performance ever since of someone who's supposed to be a royal, who's supposed to be a duchess or a princess or whatever the she thinks.
Oh, Kev,
she
she learned how to curtsy.
Yeah.
She's done
Honestly,
it.
she's such a preposterous person.
but
she's just a bloody great joke.
But she's pure entertainment for the likes of this
she's
show.
funny. She's funny.
I think actually that she kind of... I think she's a good person at heart. I do. I know people don't think that.
Yeah, that's what a dad said.
I think she's sort of high maintenance, as a lot of people are. A lot of actresses and a lot of people in the public are.
Yeah.
But I think she's a good person at heart. Now, people are going to slate me for that, but I don't think that she goes out
Do you think
to
she
do
knew
wrong.
what she was doing is my question. Do you think that she knew that she was trying to lock down a prince?
Oh, God, yeah.
Like
She zoned in on him. She zoned in on him.
That one divides everyone.
Listen, just leave you with this thought. You think she's a good person at heart. She says she's 43% Nigerian. I say she's 57%. And on that bombshell, we're going to go to break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to What Just Happened. Greatest show ever made. I'm the greatest host ever, in my own mind. I'm a legend in my lunchtime. Now, still with Simon London, the one we all love to hate. I really love to hate him. I hate to hate him and I hate him. And also Maddie, Hale, who I don't hate. It's the colossal disaster tech tycoon Bill Gates keeps warning us about with monotonous regularity. We're in the grip of a climate change emergency, right? Well, we're in the grip of climate change, just like planet Earth always has been. But whether or not this is an emergency is a debatable point. Nevertheless, the likes of Mr. Gates and doom goblin Greta Thunberg's angry army of fanatical eco-nuts have seized the narrative and succeeded in persuading millions of decent but gullible people that the end is nigh. And it's all humanity's fault. Again, that is arguably not the case. But hey-ho, it's all aboard the non-fossil fuel-powered express and full speed ahead to the new nirvana of carbon net zero's astronomically expensive holy grail. Meanwhile, global warming continues apace to the alarming extent that the plucky pensioners of Just Stop Oil, seem to believe all of Britain will soon catch fire. My guess, the rain will quickly put it out, but that's a different issue. So how do we deal with soaring temperatures? Over to billionaire Bill, who has come up with a cunning plan. America's richest man, worth a staggering $130 billion, wants to send thousands of aeroplanes high into the sky to deposit a massive chemical cloud of reflective particles that would bounce back the sun's rays and cool down the whole damn world. It's called solar geoengineering, and according to critics, is the ultimate expression of man's arrogance. The belief that somehow we can control the elements, that we can tame the awesome power of the planet. Are we quite sure about that? We couldn't even beat a not particularly lethal virus, despite globalist Gates' messianic vaccine mission, which for the record did not involve injecting microchips into people or forcing them to have the jab. So is this conviction that new tech can give us the weather we need a thoroughly modern step too far? In Britain, Boris's former techno-crazy sidekick, Dominic Cummings' brainchild, the Advanced Research and Invention Agency, ploughed through £800 million of public funds before it dawned that meteorological management was at best an inexact science and at worst a total waste of taxpayers' money. I'm all for the ambition of man, but in our lust to solve the problems we've decided are existential, are we in danger of interfering in fundamental matters we simply do not understand? Are we fiddling with ferocious forces far beyond our comprehension? And if we carry on, will we suffer a terrible reckoning? The likes of Bill Gates and Dominic Cummings are undeniably brilliant. Geniuses even, but having been around for quite a while, I can tell you one thing for sure. Blinded by their intellectual self-confidence, clever people can often be very stupid. A charge that can't be levelled against Bill's former wife, Melinda, who has just quit the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with a bumper $12 billion payoff, which, of course, will be spent on, drumroll, charity. 12 billion quid though, not bad. 12 billion bucks, I should say. But what about this? I mean, one thing I worry about, Maddie, is this narrative that we're in the grip of a climate change emergency has been bought hook, line and sinker. You know, and the other aspect of this is that humanity is solely responsible for the soaring temperatures we're suffering, or the global warming. Now, both of those points are extremely debatable. What I will accept is that mankind may have contributed in some small way to climate change, but climate change always happened, and I don't accept that this is an emergency. They say, this is an emergency, and within 10 years the world could be doomed. Well, you know, if it's an emergency, if your house is on fire, you don't go, is that the fire brigade? Could you get round here in 10 years, please? I mean, it's not an emergency.
I mean, we've definitely contributed to climate change, and it's definitely real.
Well,
I would say that.
hang on.
I think,
arguably.
Yes, my opinion is
there's no evidence to prove
But I don't know
Wait a second,
how.
Maddie, there's no evidence to prove that.
Yes, okay. Well, that's my speculation. But I will say I don't know what the emergency is, but... or if there is.
One.
But I will say, when you're the average person looking at this news and thinking, oh, this is, you can call it fear-mongering or whatever, if you're the average person, you know, not getting paid a lot, paying tax, and you see the likes of Bill Gates saying, this is an emergency, we need to put X amount of money in, obviously you're just going to be pissed off. You're just like, I don't want to hear from a billionaire about what this is. Also, you have to remember that Bill Gates is one of the top polluters because he flies a private plane. He's one of the top private plane users out of all celebrities.
Quite. Well, that hypocrisy is very, very common among those who tell us to mend our ways, those who tell us how to live our lives, we plebs, to save the planet. They don't do much themselves. I just get pissed off. I agree with Maddie. I get Simon. I get pissed off with these people who go, oh, I made a lot of money, therefore I'm going to boss the whole world around. I'm going to tell them what I want to do, and they get listened to. Why did you just and make some computers?
Okay, listen. There is a climate change emergency, and most scientists in the realms of science,
quite a few don't say that.
Will agree that there is.
Majority consensus is not fact.
okay, will agree that there is a climate change emergency.
We do not.
To come back to that.
No, we do not agree. I do not agree.
Okay. And to come back to that...
Mate, just digest that fact.
Okay, I know that you don't agree.
No. Majority consensus. Now, there are many scientists who say there is no climate emergency. We do not have a problem here. There are many more who say, yes, we do. That's not a fact. That is a debate.
Okay. I come down on the side of the debate that
you
there is
accept
a
that
climate
argument.
change.
There is
a climate change emergency.
Not a fact,
Let's address the bits one by one, okay? Also, the temperature of the temperature of the planet has risen.
Yeah.
The polar ice
Always
caps
did, mate.
The polar ice caps are melting, and it has happened in the last 150 years whilst there's been industrialization, okay?
Yeah.
Now,
what's the worst? Can I just interrupt you
Yes.
a second? Who caused climate change when the dinosaurs ruled the Earth, when mankind wasn't there? Was it their fault? Were they sort of, driving around in cars and, planes or everything?
Look, I'm
in other words, climate change always happened.
It
would happen regardless of us.
Yeah.
Yes, but we have exacerbated it by putting greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And we know that to be true, Kevin, because that's what we did with the CFCs, putting a hole in the ozone layer. We banned it from fridges and from aerosols, and the ozone layer hole decreased. So we can do something. Now, I think
that send thousands of planes into the air and make a cloud.
Listen, there are problems with what Bill Gates wants to sponsor. The first one being that to put all the planes up in the air, you're actually going to put more. You're actually going to put more.
I thought planes ruined the planet.
Exactly.
We're going to destroy it, and now you want to send thousands up there to save it.
However,
am I missing something?
However, if we are losing species, if we're losing flora and fauna, if we are through climate change, we're causing more people to migrate from the global south to the global north, and that's having an effect on immigration and migration of people as well, then I don't see that there's anything wrong with trying to mitigate the changes of climate.
Look, sure, do what you can, but I would be very, very circumspect about this madcap scheme to send thousands of planes.
Well, look,
Bill Gates should maybe be locked in a cabinet so we don't have to listen to his.
The foundation that he has with Melinda has given over 69. Is worth over 69 billion.
Melinda loves it so much she just left.
And
Why did she leave?
Well, because they got divorced, and she's not very happy.
Hang on, she's been with it 24 years. They got divorced many years
Yes,
ago.
but she's not very happy with his behaviour and hanging out with Epstein and stuff like that.
Oh,
However,
it's a
that foundation has done loads for agriculture. It's done loads for education. It's done loads for.
Yeah, well, I don't care about that.
It's done loads.
I couldn't give a shit.
It's done loads for education.
Charity
in America as well. America.
Why do rich people think they can boss everyone else
Because
around?
they want to give something back. Once you've got £1 billion, it's time to give something back.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a problem with
Bill,
that.
don't give it back. Shut the up. Keep the money yourself. Not interested.
Give it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, give it to me. Listen, good idea.
Helping save the planet, helping educate people in the planet.
Save the planet. The planet isn't in any problem at all. Humanity might not be able to live on it in the future. So can we stop being so arrogant? The planet will always survive. We might not. This is human arrogance.
Here's a question.
Human arrogance now. We can control the elements. And I know I'm getting a bit philosophical here, but I suspect that if we play around with the fundamental elements, which that's what this is about, there will be a terrible day of reckoning.
What do you think we should do what Elon Musk is doing and try and go and destroy another planet like Mars, or should we focus on making sure that our planet works?
Yes, I'm in agreement with Simon.
I'll tell you the rich guy I appreciate. This is what rich people should spend their money on, like Jeff Bezos. Rockets shaped like dicks. Have you seen his rocket?
I have, and in fact, Elon Musk has one as well.
It's kind of but have you seen Jeff Bezos's?
I've seen his rocket. I've seen his rocket.
Why is it shaped like that?
I've seen his rocket. Jeff Bezos is trying to save the planet as well. There's a lot of billionaires who are trying to do this.
Yeah, there's a fucking great long queue of billionaires. Can I save the planet? Can I save the planet? They're very, very noisy, aren't they? About
if
this?
you were a billionaire, Kev, I reckon you'd get into humanitarian work.
Yeah, you would.
If I was a billionaire, I'd keep every penny myself.
No, you'd put it straight into the
You'd start
business.
playing the world's worst sport, polo.
Polo! No. I would invest in banning polo.
Yeah.
The world's... By the way, it is the world's worst sport.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever seen anybody try to take their equipment on the
I've
tube?
never even watched
And
them.
also, have you ever been to a polo game?
No, I'm not.
Oh
I'm
my
not that
God.
hyperleting.
It is so boring. Just a bunch of chinless wonders falling off horses. It's useless. And he's going to make a Netflix series about
What?
that. I simply can wait. Anyway, enough from you two, and enough from me, actually, because it's time for a bad ad.
If your toilet quits flushing, there ain't no point in fussing. Pick up the telephone and call Stinky Steve's. If your septic tank is smelling and your spout just started yelling, pick up the telephone and call Stinky Steve's. They're number one with your number two, you are sure to see. Pick up the telephone and call Stinky Steve's.
That was odd.
We can laugh. It might be shit to us, but it's bread and butter to him.
There's money in shit.
That was definitely Texas.
Do you know what? You know, the economies in America and Britain are obviously... Actually, the American economy is not
American's
bad.
doing so well.
Our economy, for our American viewers, is in, if I can say this, in the toilet. It's terrible. But, you know, if you want to start a business, do hairdressing, funeral parlour, or shit. You know, portaloos, things
They'll
like that,
always be
because
around.
people will always need haircuts, they'll always die, and they'll always need a shit. So, Stinking Steve, he's onto something, right?
Certainly is. Yeah.
There you go.
That's what kept putting his $1 billion.
Anyway,
into
what a
it.
shame. I thought when we saw that, you know, thinking the loo there, that suddenly Meghan would come in and sit down on it or something.
Well, it is a throne.
It would certainly be in line with the rest of her.
She has a lot of skills, Kev. She
yeah.
can adapt to whatever ad.
Hey, you know, people were sort of yelling at me last week when I said that she was a millionaire before she met Harry.
Was she?
Yeah, because when Suits was syndicated,
Of
it's kind of like
course.
I
Seinfeld.
could agree with that.
It's kind of like
yeah.
Seinfeld.
Syndication
and like,
makes people
Yeah.
absolutely.
sorry.
So she was
Yeah.
she was a made woman
But
before
also,
she met him.
same-
Anyway, we've got to go to a real
that.
break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. I'm still with Simon London and Maddie Hale, and we are going to now discuss, I guess, what you might call the programme of the year, the drama of the year. It's been watched by tens and tens of millions of people all over the globe. We're talking, of course, about that saga of stalking called Baby Reindeer. Look, Richard Gad wrote this. We can give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was writing his real story. I don't doubt that, as he said, he's got 41,000 emails from Fiona Harvey. He's got 350 voicemails. She clearly stalked him. As to how much he augmented the story, that's another thing. You know, dramatists do tend to hyperbole.
Embellish.
Embellish, make it more acceptable for or enjoyable for a TV audience. And what I'd like to ask really is, who's exploiting who here? Should we make poignant dramas about real people when clearly, with Fiona Harvey in particular, we're dealing with someone who, shall we say, does have mental health issues?
She clearly does. I thought that was quite evident in the interview. I think, first of all, I don't think Pierce exploited her. I actually thought he did. And I know that he's.
Can I just interrupt? You paid her 250 quid for the interview.
I know.
You know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
so
not
she
exploitation.
went on to after the interview, Fiona. You know, I don't blame Pierce for that. You know, you get it. You pay in this business, in the media, you pay as little as you can. They said to her, 250 quid. She said, yeah.
Exactly.
They went, all right then. Anyway, Pierce. She put on Twitter, I'm gonna sue Pierce. He owes me £1 million.
I do not
I
get
need
that.
£1 million for that interview. And Pierce replied, you don't need £1 million. You need an agent.
Oh.
When Richard Gad wrote this series, you know, was he exploiting her?
I think he exploited her when he made Martha and the real life Fiona look too similar. I think that there was too many similarities. So yes, I think he's exploited her and subjected her to that kind of online sleuth that came about. Could he have expected that? Don't know. Could he have expected this show to be as much of a phenomenon? Probably not. But I think that is an exploitation and puts her in that position.
So a little bit of background.
Simon, that when he said that he went to the ends of the earth to disguise her identity,
No.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that. Now, good luck to him. And what's interesting about this is stalking. It's clearly touched the nerve with a lot of people. Even sort of low grades, halfway well-known people like me, I've had stalking problems. It's a very strange syndrome. But
I think somebody mistook him for Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is. I'll laugh.
What was the name of the executive producer of Dallas? Kevin O'Sullivan.
Okay,
but that's another issue. So, did Richard Gad exploit Fiona Harvey?
So a little bit of background. Richard Gad originally wrote this to be a play, and when he was performing the play in Edinburgh,
That's why Edinburgh.
yes, when he performed it in Edinburgh, the character of Martha, who we now know to be Fiona Harvey, I think, was portrayed by a stool. So he had a stool on stage, and nobody knew.
You mean a wooden stool?
Yes, not from the toilet, not from Stinky Steve's.
From Stinky Steve.
So nobody knew what Martha.
By the way, Stinky Steve's #1 for #2s.
Thank you, very good.
Did you hear that? No,
Yes.
that was in the adverts. Carry on. So we digress.
So nobody knew whether Martha was. Nobody knew what Martha looked like. Nobody knew the accent. Nobody knew anything else. Then when it was adapted for Netflix, he's not only come up with somebody who resembles Fiona Harvey in appearance, but also the way she sounds. And I believe that the text messages are verbatim from the ones that were sent, meaning that she's been very easy to track down by the internet sleuths. Now, was that something that Richard Gad wanted to do after protecting her during the play, or is that something that Netflix have asked him to do? She has come out and said that unlike the character in the Netflix series, she has no convictions at all. And right at the beginning of the series, it says this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
So does she have a case to say?
Yes.
Well, what's interesting is that a lot of lawyers, it's like Netflix obviously, we're in the clear, she's just a bit nuts, and this is going to be great. A lot of lawyers are saying she actually might have a case here. For example, the tweets that were used in the show, in the drama on telly, TV for Americans, the tube, you could still find them on Twitter. She actually posted them.
Yeah.
So I suppose that he went too far, I think, in telling the real life story because it did expose her.
But whose fault is that? They could have cast.
Netflix.
They could have cast Martha as an Australian like Maddie. They could have cast her as a black person. Could have cast her as a black person like myself and put some clear distance. So we don't know whether that is Gad or Netflix. Can I just say one thing as well about the Piers interview? I think, the fact that there is nobody looking out for her in duty of care, so she doesn't have an agent, that's not Piers' fault or his team's fault at all. But it is kind of symptomatic of how she's sort of been left out in the cold to fend with whatever's being thrown her way.
No, look, Piers' interview was totally journalistically valid.
And I don't have a problem with that. But I'm saying nobody's looking out for her, are they?
And you know that she gave an interview to one of the national newspapers here in Britain about 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
So Piers wasn't the first person to interview her. Everybody knew who she was. Piers put her on TV, and that too has gone almost as viral as Baby Reindeer itself.
She would have gone on, when people say it's immoral for Pierce and the team to have her on, she would have gone on another show.
Yeah, completely.
Well, I don't think it was immoral.
But I'm not
exactly.
saying that. What I'm saying is once it was obvious who she was, I'm amazed that Netflix or the production company or whoever haven't manoeuvred to kind of look after her, and maybe somebody would have been there to broker that deal with that interview as soon as it came to light. And so I think she's probably, on the balance of things, I think she's been kind of done a disservice. I do kind of slightly feel sorry for her.
By Richard Gad and Netflix.
If everything, and we know that some of those things are debatable, if some of those things that are in the drama are true, I think she's a very kind of disturbed person who I wouldn't want to be stalked by at all if you're watching.
Well, I told you, when she came into these studios to do the interview, I didn't know. I went into makeup because I was about to do What Just Happened, I think. And what just happened? Every time you say, what just happened? Anyway, I'll go into makeup, and there's this rather jolly, plump Scottish lady sitting there. We start chewing the fat, talking about the weather and how hard it is to get around London. She struck me as a very nice woman. She didn't ask me for a number, so fortunately I didn't give it to her. Anyway, when I stepped outside, I know Piers' producer's standing there, said, you know who that is, don't you? I go, no. She said, that's the baby reindeer woman. I go,
and now they're roommates.
And now you're dating.
Oh, hang on, so I've just got an email. So
I actually think what happened is Richard Gad auditioned the actress, Jessica, whatever her name is, and thought, she's perfect for the role.
She's a great actress.
And she was phenomenal and imagined her as Fiona. Do you know what I mean?
But the likeness is, but it is so alike. And they have come out and said, he has said in other interviews, she's completely disguised. People in this wouldn't recognise themselves. So who made that decision? When was that decision made to make somebody, to cast somebody who was very much like her? That's the crux.
Here's my line on it. I think, I'm a believer in freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and I think if artists, directors, actors want to make series about real life people, real life events, then it would be censorship to stop them. Of course, they should be able to do this. But I guess the charge against Richard Gad and Netflix is, should you do this to someone who is quite clearly as mentally vulnerable as Fiona Harvey? I think that it's about her. Should they have been more careful, given that what we know about Fiona Harvey, who frankly, she's nuts.
I mean, I think the answer to the first part of that question is yes, you should. I agree with you. You should be able to make drama about pretty much anything. The second part, though, if you say you're going to protect that identity, and you come out and say that's what you're going to do, then you sort of have a duty to do that.
There's no doubt that Richard Gad's assertion that he went to the ends of the earth to protect her identity is just a load of bollocks.
I mean, but you just have to look at in the paper. There's some pictures of her next to the character from and they look like twins.
I'm confused as to how Netflix, with all their expertise and all their executive power, didn't.
Well, this is what lulled them into a false sense of security, and they could be in trouble on this.
I think they will.
They might be. It's The Crown, so the ultimate series about real life living people. Very, very shit production, if you ask me. I'm so bored by it after about 10 minutes. No, I did watch a series and a half or something like that. That's enough of this crap. But a very cowardly production, because it's based on the great thing about the royal family is they never sue. Unless you're royal. Yes, you're the part of the royal family that's Prince Harry. But they never sue. Now, you could not make a drama like The Crown about a non-royal family, because they'd have been all over them. So I think Netflix were lulled into a sense of false security by that.
I think so.
It is, make no mistake, folks, The Crown, a lot of people enjoyed it, don't get me, it's just me. I'm easily bored.
But there's a lot of fictitious storylines in there.
But there was a cowardly production.
I mean, they've literally said that this character has gone to jail. Yeah. Like, that's an easy defamation case, is it not?
I'm not sure about that, but I just think that, let's see, because everyone's laughing her threatened lawsuit out of court. But I think maybe it's no laughing matter. There may be more to it than you think, but we have to go to a real break now.
Gordy, inventory's getting out of hand.
Leather, mattresses, recliners.
There's no more room.
What are we gonna do?
You don't want to get Gordy angry, because he turns into the outrageous overstocked bulk. That means blasting through with big savings at Dodge Furniture. Help clear out the extra stock for every room in your house. You'll find quality, selection, and guarantees. Look out for the outrageous overstocked bulk.
Dodge Furniture and Mattress.
What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. I'm still burdened with the presence of Simon London, the one we all love to hate. He's the new JJ, only worse. JJ on steroids. God, I thought JJ was bad enough. This guy.
Somebody last week said you've replaced one brown plank with another brown plank.
I did not say that. No. I would never say that.
That is a defamation case.
But anyway, I fire JJ, and if you're not careful, and Maddie Hale, of course, who's always welcome. You're not, Simon. But seriously, one thing about this show, what just happened, we got a lot of views on both sides of the Atlantic. Really pleased that Americans tuned in, and also, of course, Brits and people all over the world. So one of the phenomenal things about what just happened is me. No, sorry, no. It's the fact that we get thousands and thousands of comments and messages underneath our YouTube show. So everyone's very engaged. So rather than just letting you all send these comments, maybe read a few and then they just disappear into the ether, I thought we should put some of them on air and discuss them. So I believe you two have got some.
Yeah, we've got some. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
I'll start. Once Joan Smith, he says, "You are totally right about how Americans feel about injustice. We love GB and the monarchy. As far as Simon, I will still watch your show. I'm a big fan, but Simon, never. I will skip when he speaks, and I hope that works because I really want to watch your show. Simon is a disgraceful and a liar. He absolutely will hurt your show with every American fan I know, no doubt."
Is that Joan Smith? And where's Joan from, does it say?
It doesn't say.
So Joan's obviously from America, and she's obviously a very, very astute woman, very perceptive. She's worked you out. She's got your number.
And Joan, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well done, Joan. Well
okay,
done.
so this
Absolutely
is
accurate. Well done.
Mrs. Tommy Banks. Harry is definitely a traitor. I'm an American and I hate how the gruesome twosome hurt Queen Elizabeth and the royal family. It's unforgivable. I wish they would leave the US and go to Nigeria, which they did.
Oh.
So,
yeah,
well done.
okay. Earlier, I'd had a go at their trip to Nigeria. I guess what I'm upset about, and I agree with Tommy there, is that they came back. Next time they go on one of these useless pretend royal tours, why don't we just get them a one-way ticket? How about that?
Maddie?
Okay.
Maddie.
I'm silent to that. Think Simon, this is from Linda Holland, by the way. Think Simon has shown how ignorant he is towards our British history and monarchy, the institution that we happen to love.
Yeah.
So you just need to get on board.
Okay, very good.
Don't you love the monarchy, Simon?
I told you last week that after the Queen died, I was shocked myself by becoming a royalist because I think it's better that we have a family that have gone through years of tradition and everything else than a family like the Johnsons or the Blairs or the Kennedys or the Bushes or the Trumps that you feel have kind of bought themselves.
Do you know what I feel about the royal family? Why I think we should have them? You get all that about, they're really good for the tourist industry, and they soft diplomacy, they sell Britain all over the world, all of which I guess is true.
Yeah.
But the reason we should have a monarchy is because the vast, vast majority of British people love the monarchy.
Yeah.
They want the monarchy, and that's called democracy.
Okay.
Agreed.
Cool. Kevin thanks you for sticking up for Americans. Your guests were so hateful to an entire country that loves the royal family. And that's from Marcy Askins.
Thank you, Marcy. Exactly. As you all know, I lived in California for the best part of 10 years, Los Angeles, and I built up a very great affection for Americans, and they get a bad press over here from idiots like Simon London. So thank you very much.
Not me. I'm actually
all I do
is report on US politics, so they better like me.
I'd never be rude to a woman.
Yeah, you
Idiot.
wouldn't. So all my comments are related to you and how disliked you are. So this one says...
You are a new JJ.
This one says, "I'm not a fan of JJ's replacement. I'm an American and I can better tolerate JJ's disdain for us over this arsehat calling us ignorant and uneducated. As a Latina from NYC, we're tired of Dems using the courts for vendettas, and we are more tired of crime and the bad economy. Kevin, please do better with your castmates." So that's from Tracy Pinelli. So
Tracy, stick with it. He's only there so we can kick the hell out of him every week.
They may.
And by the way, excellent, Tracy. I totally agree with you about the Democrats and their lawfare. Go Donald Trump, the next president. The next president of the United States.
Oh, dear me. Well, I have two here, and they are about me. But Alison Doherty says, "Simon is too reasoned and intelligent for this show." Thank you, Alison. And she also says, "While I agree with you, Kevin, I really like Simon's comments. He sounds reasoned and balanced. The focus on the family is fine, but surely the Foreign Office would have been watching the tour with interest. That pair are potentially playing into China's agenda.
Exactly right. It's exactly what I say. That is a very good point, and that was what I was trying to get at. But I like Simon is too reasoned and intelligent for this show. Yeah, but the bar's very low.
Yeah. Well, sorry to contradict that.
Have you got anything else there?
Earlier YouTube comment, because this is obviously.
Have you got any praise of me?
Yeah.
This is obviously the opposite. The one that I have is Simon is a liar and needs to get his facts straight. Trump is not corrupt. He was the best president the US ever had. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's as bad as that moron JJ. Poor JJ actually.
Wow.
He's the real victim.
Well, at least you're on a par with JJ.
Where's that person sending that from?
It doesn't say, but it's from Jan.
An institution.
Jan.
I hope everything's okay in the institution, Jan.
From America. She's right about
Donald Trump. How are you isolating an entire country?
Yeah, by the way, Donald Trump is the next president of the United States because those idiot Democrats, they're going to put that old fossil, that living fossil, Joe Biden, on the stage to do a TV debate. Did you see when he said, "Hey, so Donald Trump wants to do it
I can't
with
wait
me"?
for it.
He goes, "Bring it on, bring it on." It went on for about 45 seconds. There were 4 edits in it.
Listen, how do you know
Donald
that?
Trump,
You could because it kept cutting. He can't even do a 40-second declaration.
Okay, I will give you that. There is only one living president at the moment who is in charge of their faculties and is the most intelligent living president at the moment, and that's Obama. Okay?
He was a crap president.
No, great president.
Absolute shite.
I will say this
Absolute
debate.
shite.
I'm interested in the debate, but there's no live.
Although I'll tell you what, Obama was good in terms of America for the international stage. He was sophisticated. He was stylish. I'll give you that. But he was a shit president.
And I will give you this. Trump putting America first in certain situations, like getting NATO to pay up.
I wish our government would put Britain first.
Taking China on in a trade war. I think those things are positive. But he is so corrupt, and he is so.
Oh, Biden's not.
And he is.
Have you heard about his son Hunter?
Are you guys doing this?
No mud sticks.
Simon,
no mud sticks
don't
to
even
Joe.
go there. Don't start calling Donald Trump corrupt because
he's in court at the moment.
Biden makes Trump look like a kid in kindergarten.
Trump is in court at the moment for paying hush money to a porn star.
For lying about paying hush money.
Right, we're going to break, I believe.
Go where you wanna go, call when you wanna call.
Get the lowest price ever at Radio Shack on the most powerful transportable cellular phone system. Just $7.99 when you sign up with Radio Shack's authorized cellular phone carrier.
Go where you wanna go.
There's nothing else to buy, and it's ready to go wherever you go.
Call when you wanna call.
Use in your car, or go portable and take it along. Radio Shack's complete transportable cellular phone system. Just $7.99 only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
Nearly $800. I've still got that phone.
Do you actually?
No.
Oh.
It's that. Yeah.
Amazing though, isn't it? Amazing that the sort of people would carry those around.
Radio Shack takes me back. Radio Shack, it's a big chain in America where you get all your techno stuff. So when I was over there in the 90s, I got this thing called a laptop. And people go, "What is that?" From Radio Shack. But here's the story. I suppose it rather dates me, but I'll tell it anyway. Live Aid.
Oh, wow, 1985.
I covered Live Aid, right, as a young reporter, very young. I was only 9. I got my first job on Fleet Street on the National Press when I was 9 years old. No, I was a little older than that. Anyway, it was before mobile phones, and the news editor called me over because, at Wembley Stadium, where that huge legendary concert was, you couldn't get to a phone. There was nothing, it was hopeless. So the paper I was working for, the Sunday People, God rest its soul, it's now got 6 readers and isn't worth reading. But it used to be in those days because I was on it. Anyway, the news editor called me over and he said, "Look, I've got something for you." I said, "What's that?" It's called a mobile phone.
Oh, wow.
I said, what do you mean? He said, you just phone us from there. Anyway, so he brings out this phone, which is this big, it's like, like that.
A brick.
And then he said, you put the battery in there, and he says, "Here's your batteries." Like, what do you mean batteries? He said, "Well, they run out pretty quickly." And it was this bag about this thing. And it was really heavy. I had about 25 of these. They were the size of bricks.
I can imagine.
Anyway, the point is I got there, and every time I filed copy, I phoned up, put a big brick in, and I went, yeah, is that the news desk? And crowds gathered around me going, oh my God, what is that? And I go, it's a mobile phone. It was almost as bad as that one in Radio Shack. And on that fascinating anecdote glorifying me, a big thank you, I suppose, to Simon London. Keep your hateful messages coming in about him. Call him every name under the sun. I know I do. And a big thanks to Maddie Hale. Be nice about her.
Yeah, big nice.
Because I'm not sure why you should be, but you really should be. Anyway, I've been Kevin O'Sullivan. You've been an amazing audience. And this has been What Just Happened. We'll be back same time, same place next week for What Just Happened. What just happened?